here in Philadelphia, we might be experiencing our own entertainment, excitement, impact while Florida is waiting for Milton to make landfall. It is raining down there. I could tell from reporters on YouTube and regular news that you know, it's already started raining and there's clouds coming in before the actual hurricane. Here there'll be a whipping up of, dare I say, I'm going to use the word gang stalkers, or people. This will be very street level. It gets more sophisticated than what these people know about, but I can already tell because of the activity in my building and on the street this morning that people are sent out on purpose, and they do things on purpose, and they would know that certain people were targeted. They would base their lives on assumption that the target doesn't know anything. Meanwhile, they're children to targets. Targets see these people as very immature children. But anyway, an example would be, and this would be like basic street level stuff. Like, there's higher level forms of gang stalking. It gets really weird and biblical, just like Milton Bradley. Don't play any games. So anyway, an example during the Obama administration, but this was after he was elected. In 2011, there was an attempted murder upon my life. Hard to explain, and lawmakers do see it as that because it was so bad. I was scared to death in my apartment by people who set up and orchestrate things. And I couldn't even hold my phone. My entire body went limp. I couldn't even speak. I didn't know how to describe it to people. I also didn't want to be a burden to people, and when you're so traumatized, it's like you're trying to explain what's going on. But the thing is, not only did that happen, but my mom and aunt's phone lines were cut, severed, like murderers would do, so that when I tried to call my mom in Jacksonville, Florida, which is where they lived in 2011, they moved to Gainesville conveniently in 2012 because everybody wants to make sure they can keep everyone under control. But so when I called my mom out of desperation, I heard, doo-doo-doo, we're sorry, the phone number you're trying to reach has been disconnected. So that adds to the terror and the horror of the attempted murder attempt, the fourth Monday of January 2011, and all those complicit can start looking over their shoulders and worrying about their futures. So anyway, one of the tactics, and this is kind of low level, average, normal, would be to stock the entire city, or whatever city a target lives in, with people who have injuries or fake injuries, or people who drag out that foot cast again every time they feel the slight bit of like swelling or pain, if they even had a foot injury to begin with. So this city was filled with people walking around with some type of handicap, injury, neck brace, arm brace, leg brace, foot cast. Speaking of, I didn't even know she'd be here today. I didn't know that. Someone else did though, because they orchestrated the city. That's how good that is. Now, she would be one of 5 million people. I'm so not kidding. There were a couple days when I walked out and I'm like, is anyone not injured? I'm like the only one not physically, obviously injured, other than having been traumatized so badly. You know, it's at the level where shooters can be created. And the shooter carries out that of the gang stalkers who are terrorists. So the gang stalkers are terrorists, and they create people who wind up getting in trouble because they flip out, snap out. There's no way to control it. Not even the most controlled Gandhi would be able to control himself. He would not. So even the most peaceful person can be turned into a shooter because of what they do. They're very low-brained. They are primitive in nature. They are incredibly immature. They might even hold jobs as doctors, lawyers. You'd be surprised who has in fake agencies. You would be surprised. There are law firms, law practices, groups of pilots, groups of veterinarians, and they're fake because the practices were created to house such people so that they can kind of sort of do their job. But if they were put to the test in a more serious practice, law firm, what have you, they wouldn't pass. They just sort of fudge their way through life. So one little example would be to have 1 million people coming out here looking injured, whether the injuries are real or imagined, perceived. We have a little impediment. We always have to walk curled in a little bit. I have a cousin who did this, and in a way it could be done to avoid people who have something to say. Like, that wouldn't be me. I was incredibly quiet. I didn't even talk. I am the opposite, at least verbally, than I was for 90% of my life. So the fact that I'm talking now is a slap back to gang stalkers. To push back on them, make them fall to the ground, crack their heads, and wind up in prison. Okay? So, anyway, while Milton is about to bear down on Central Florida, and I'm wondering if this is God's work for pushing back, on people's bad behavior, while they self-righteously criticized other people who were like, I don't even know what I did wrong. I just know I want to have dinner with my dad once, just him, not everybody else. So while Milton and all the news is going crazy today, tonight, and into tomorrow, Philly will be gang stalking. I will be in my apartment after I finish up a put in place dog walking situation. Thank you.